Alright, citizens of 30k Macragge, it is time to see exactly what JoyToy has done with your respective action figures. So in this one, we are going to be taking a deep dive and reviewing the Ultramarines Legion Praetor, and this thing, when I saw it, proved to be a very spicy looking little meatball. So there's nothing to do except get into the review. Did we step backwards in time or forwards in time? Because GW and obviously JoyToy at Cursory Glance did a good job of simultaneously making this action figure both futuristic and archaically Roman at the same time. The figure is obviously exuding a Roman Legion feel with all the entrapments and decorations. I believe that JoyToy did a fantastic job with faithfully replicating the miniature down to the minute details. The color scheme of the action figure shockingly matches the source material as well. Perched atop the helmet is a gigantic brush of a broom that has a bunch of texturization that's running through it. There is a nice laurel that is wrapped around the helmet that brings out the Roman flavor. I like the contrast of the golden face mask against the blue of the armor, as blue and gold naturally look great together. The red metallic lens makes the action figure look weirdly robotic, but I think in a good way. Now, the bareheaded version looks quite a bit less noble than the helmeted version in my opinion, but it doesn't take away from the distinguished look of the bare head. The usage of the red bionic eye stands out prominently against the grizzled veteran look, and then the shading really brings out the age and ruggedness of this determined leader. I think that one of the most striking areas on this action figure are the pauldrons, with the left one being the more outstanding of the two. The eagle looks as if it is perched atop the pauldron while simultaneously standing in front of a very large Ultramarine symbol. Notice that the depth of the feathers is shallow due to the lack of shading. One critique of this area is that the loop that holds up the pauldron seems quite weak and flimsy. The plastic does not seem to be able to support the weight of the shoulders. I don't know if this is like purposely done, but I don't think it's really that great. The right side is equally striking with a golden skull that seemingly is sprouting golden laurels out of it. Once again, the usage of shading would have made the leaves stand out a little bit more on the laurels. And finally, the forearm of the figure also sports an instrument panel that is rarely seen. Flanking the Praetor's manly chest is a large metallic blue gemstone and a golden skull right here. These accessories are attached together by the means of a non-shaded red cord. Aside from that, there's some presence of golden embroidery that outlines the outer edges of the armor, along with hoses that run underneath the chest plate. Fortunately, there is really nothing to see about the torso area. However, the blandness of the torso area gives way to a burst of decorations in the waist area. There is a very significant belt buckle that boasts the Ultramarines U with stunted laurels out the side. I really love how the scabbard over here is attached to the waist by these leather straps and two golden skulls. Sadly, I find the look of the skulls to be rather vacant due to the lack of the darkness in the eye and nose area. The scabbard itself is a fantastic blend of gold and brown, and you can also see the textured leather as well. Also, just to let you know, the scabbard is 100% functional, as you can sheathe the sword. I really love these simple but yet effective touches that JoyToy puts in these figures. Instead of a solid loincloth, there are 3 leather straps that are weighted down by ultramarine buckles down here. I also love that more texturization has been put in this area. Rounding out the decoration dense area is a crack grenade and a frag grenade that's coupled with a side armor plate with 13 that protrudes out of the plastic. As I have lamented before on 40k action figures, the legs are the least decorated area on a Space Marine, but on this 30k action figure, it is quite the exact opposite. This thigh area sports some golden embroidery, as well as a pipe apparently that runs through the center region. However, the knees and shins truly steal the show on this action figure. The knees are marked by these blue gems right here that are surrounded by gold accents. Now, the shin area is where the proverbial drip is at. I love how the golden eagles stand front and center, with the left one matching the decoration of the left pauldron. The right one seemingly has a laurel in the center of it that is made out of feathers instead of leaves. I also like how the 13th Legion is shaded to make it pop out against the gold of the eagle. The back area has some golden accents and eagle feathers that reach around. However, this area is dominated by a very flowy red cape. This cape boasts a lot of folds and shading, which gives more depth of flavor. I like how the golden lines over here break up the red of the cape. Now the inner lining stands in contrast with the outside of the cape because it is a light tan color, which has been accented with a darker tan, reddish tinge to denote that this area is a valley. This power sword has got to be one of the most diminutive power swords that I've seen across the whole entire Horus Heresy, and in fact the 40k action figure lineup. It looks completely functional in that it is not monstrously sized, and this is an example of a monstrously sized power sword. And just like the 40k versions, the dark gunmetal transitions to a light silver color when you get to the tip of the blade. I also love the eagle on the pommel and the usage of the U right here as a hilt for the sword. Now, with regards to this Volkite Serpenta, this is the first time me reviewing this sort of weapon, so this is kind of a new look for me. I like the usage of the gold, black, dark gunmetal, and the red on this other side that breaks up each section of this ranged weapon. The gold of the coils and the white hue really draw your eyes to the center of this weapon. Rounding out this action figure is a distinguished standard that has an eagle that is perched on top of it. I love the continuity that is seen in this area, that is seen in the left pauldron and the left shin. Again, I wish JoyToy would have shaded the feathers, but for some reason they have been shying away from making this region look more 3D. The continuity is further strengthened by using the same leather straps beneath the bar area, which matches the leather of the groin region of this character. Now, if you joined me on the Amon review, I mentioned that the MK4 backpacks look distinguished, and this backpack is no exception. I love the terracing effect right here that is coupled with the hoses that run alongside the outside of the backpack. The golden skull and the U really stands out against the dark blue and the black. So just to touch on the movement real quick, there's really no inhibition of the motion on this action figure. I'm not going to bother operating it right now. You just have to trust me in that everything moves as it should with no issues. I'm glad that none of these decorations over here get in the way of movement as opposed to some other JoyToy action figures we have come across. So next we are going to be doing a size comparison, and this is obviously the Ultramarines Honor Guard, which is a firstborn character if I'm not mistaken. And you can see that this Legion Praetor actually stands quite tall against the Honor Guard. Flanking the Legion Praetor is this Stern Guard Sergeant right here, and once again, it is weird to see that this Legion Praetor is taller than a Primaris Marine, which lore-wise is a little bit messed up. And finally, we have the Ultramarines Leviathan Terminator that stands quite tall compared to this Legion Praetor. With the review over, please join me in the wrap-up.
Well, Ultramarines fans, I believe that JoyToy completely delivered the full package in this action figure right here. This Legion Praetor exudes a nobleness, a exquisite quality that probably not many of the other action figures that I have reviewed in the recent memory actually has. I really love the nod to ancient Roman history with all the different badgings, the different iconography. I'm going to be willing to say that this is probably one of my top action figures of 2024, bar none. And as much as people rip on Ultramarines, this one you cannot rip on. It is nearly a perfect action figure in my opinion. So clearly, if you're an Ultramarines fan or even a Horus Heresy action figure enjoyer, this is going to be a must buy for you. And the question is, where should you buy this action figure? Well, I will answer that question for you. There's only one place to buy it, and that is at David Toys, where I get all of my action figures. They have consistent, awesome customer service, and sometimes they will deliver your action figures to your doorstep in 4 days in the United States. And do not forget to use the code SNS to receive 12% off of your purchase. As I have said in every single action review, thank you so much, members of the chapter, for watching this video in its entirety. It definitely does help the channel, and it does help this video itself. Thank you so much for your likes, your subscribes, as well as your continued devotion to this channel. I am extremely thankful to each and every single one of you. And with that being said, I'll see you all in the next review.